Moving on to Best Director, number 5 would be Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge. The nomination was more than enough, I think. They should just take the nomination and just be happy with it, because Mel Gibson is someone who has done a lot of controversial things in the past, and the Academy may not want to be associated to that name, but they already nominated him, which, like I said, I think is more than enough. But Hacksaw Ridge, I think, is very much an example of separating the art from the artist. But I do feel that the film was extremely well directed. This is a guy, again, that I have a tremendous amount of respect for when it comes to directing. So yeah, that's Mel Gibson at number 5. Number 4 would be Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea. Now, this was a very subtly directed film, and Kenneth Lonergan, I think, if he was to win anything, he would be more likely to win for Best Original Screenplay, which I think he will win for. So I'm not going to put a lot of hope into him winning Best Director. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's just move on to number 3, which is Denis Villeneuve for Arrival. Arrival was a brilliantly well-crafted film. It was extremely subtle. It has so much tension, and Denis Villeneuve is someone who I feel has never made a bad movie. He's one of the best working directors in Hollywood with, you know, Prisoners and Sicario and Enemy and now Arrival. I don't think it's going to go to him. It's definitely going to go to number 2 or number 1. There's a big gap between these two. So that's Denis V at number 3. Number 2 would be Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. Although I doubt he will win, this is definitely the person you could look out for as like the underdog, because Moonlight was a big indie film. It's definitely very indie for a film that got nominated for Best Picture, and it was so brilliant. The story was so brilliantly told, and it was a gorgeous film, and the cinematography and the sound design, everything just came together. It's a perfectly directed film, perfectly acted, which I'll get into in my Best Picture in a bit, in like 5 minutes, 1 minute, whatever. And so yeah, I do feel that Barry Jenkins does stand a chance. He's the only one who can dethrone the number 1 choice, which is Damien Chazelle. This is a guy who has won every single award leading up to this: Golden Globe, Directors Guild, BAFTA. This guy's won everything, and he's one of my favorite directors, you know. Again, I do feel that the La La Land backlash might hurt the film a bit and hurt all the people related to the film, but I do feel that one of the things that is invulnerable right now is Damien Chazelle's chances of winning Best Director, because not only was La La Land an incredibly well-crafted, incredibly directed film, this is an extremely talented guy who has written films, who has directed Whiplash, again, one of my favorite films, and if he were to win, he would be the youngest director, I believe, to have ever won. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a 99% chance that Damien Chazelle would win. So that's who I'm going to say would win. But do keep an eye out for Barry Jenkins as an underdog who could just swoop from underneath and just win. Let's move on to the final biggest category, which is Best Picture, of course. So at number 9 would be Lion, simply because Lion is the only film out of all these films that have been nominated that I feel doesn't exactly bring something new to its genre. If you look at a film like Moonlight, you know, that film shines a spotlight on a culture that has for far too long been sort of kept to the sidelines of Hollywood. Hidden Figures as well. I'm getting to Hidden Figures a bit later. You look at a film like Hell or High Water and Arrival, which are essentially modern retellings and realistic retellings of a genre, you know, Western and sci-fi. You look at a film like La La Land, which is like a tribute to classic musicals, but also modernizes the musical. Lion doesn't really do anything groundbreaking, anything new, anything innovative. And this is by far the least talked about Best Picture nominee. Like I said in my review, Lion is sort of the weakest when it comes to the likelihood of this film winning Best Picture. So yeah, that's Lion. Number 8 would be Hell or High Water. I think Screen Junkie said it perfectly when they said, hell, it's just an honor to be nominated, or something like that in their honest trailers. But yes, it is, because Hell or High Water is not gonna win. There's no chance, right? This is like an indie film. It has violence, and it's not gonna win. It just isn't gonna win. And I love the film personally. I think it's very well made. I think the acting is very good, and all of it just comes together for what is, in my opinion, the best modern Western since No Country for Old Men. But I do feel that its chances of winning are extremely weak, and yeah, I just feel like maybe. Okay, I'm just saying maybe. Okay, first of all, let me clear it out. My number 1 and number 2 choices, which are obviously Moonlight and La La Land. I don't need to like build up to that or anything. You already know. There's no way that any other film is going to win. It's definitely going to be Moonlight or La La Land. Definitely 100%, hands down. no other film. But I'm just saying, the only reason I'm ranking these is, let's say, I don't know, that maybe they find like dead bodies under Ryan Gosling's like basement or something like that, and they can't nominate the film, so they're gonna have to nominate one of these. That's why I'm doing it. And so yeah, anyway, moving on to the next one, I'm gonna actually say, what is that, number 7? Number 7, yeah. Number 7 would probably be Hacksaw Ridge. Again, this simply because of the Mel Gibson thing. If Mel Gibson hadn't directed this movie, I know that sounds quite rude, but if Mel Gibson didn't direct it, with something like Scorsese or someone, it definitely has a high chance of winning. But because of all the controversy surrounding him, and it's a war movie, it's extremely violent, it's maybe not the best thing that we need at this time with what's going on in the world, I do feel that Hacksaw Ridge doesn't have a huge chance of winning. Although it was a brilliant film, it's probably my second favourite out of all of these Best Picture nominees. I do think that it has no chance of winning. Number 6 would be Arrival. Again, Arrival is a film that I don't think will win simply because it's a sci-fi, it's very mainstream, it has a big following. Again, it's not like an Oscar film, it isn't like it's set in like a time of war, it isn't based on a true story or anything. So I do feel, however, that Arrival isn't gonna win. Although it does have a chance, I doubt it. Number 5 down would be Fences. Now, Fences I thought would be actually higher on this list, but I just feel like after watching the film, it's not exactly a very cinematic feeling film. It's just a bunch of acting that's not like, because you know when a movie wins Best Picture, you know, it's for directing and acting and producing, and something that all comes together for what is essentially the best film of the year. I feel like Fences is very much a dialogue-driven film, an actor-driven film, and yeah, of course it has Denzel, so that definitely boosts up its chances of winning. And you know, with all the racism and all the sort of stuff with the Oscar so white controversy, it definitely has a chance of winning. And number 4 would be Hidden Figures. Now, two things that the Academy have been criticised for is racism and sexism. This film deals with both. And so I do feel that this could definitely have a chance of winning. It won Best Ensemble Cast at the SAG Awards, and that's a pretty big deal. And again, it has an extremely large cast, it's very well directed, it's very fun. So yeah, I do think Hidden Figures has a chance. Going on with number 3, the Holy Trinity, essentially, Manchester by the Sea. Again, I'm not going to say a ton because Manchester by the Sea is already a very good film. I gave it an A+. I think this film definitely has a high chance of winning, although I do feel that number 1 and number 2 are definitely going to win. It's going to be between those two, Moonlight and La La Land. So I'm going to move on to that. Moonlight, I don't think Moonlight's going to win, but it definitely could. Because, you know, if you look at films in the past, La La Land, people are saying that La La Land is definitely going to win, but Moonlight could definitely come from under the rug and just win. Because look at last year, everyone was like Revenant's going to win, but Spotlight won. Year before, everyone was like Boyhood's going to win, but Birdman won. But then everyone was like 12 Years a Slave is going to win, but it did. So Moonlight could definitely win. But I don't feel that Moonlight will win, which is why I'm going to give my choice for Best Picture to La La Land, simply because it's won like Best Everything. And it's been nominated for like everything, and I feel like this is going to be like the Return of the King, because Return of the King was nominated for so much and it won so much, and so I do feel that ultimately the award will go to La La Land, which is still my favourite film of 2016, although I think the backlash could harm it a bit, because if it were to win Best Picture, everyone would be like, oh, remember that year when La La Land won everything and no one else got a chance to win. I can definitely see that happening to La La Land, but I do feel that ultimately it's going to go to La La Land. So I'm going to stop filming and just let you guys watch this and watch the Oscars tomorrow. So yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you.